Yes, could you please repeat or join me?
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance. Oh, are we going to have the flag? There we go. Please repeat after me or join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board Clerk, can we take roll?
Yes, sir.
Our president has joined us. Okay, I'm going to let her take over here.
Thank you. So we are at 2.3. Roll call, please. Thank you, Nikki.
Student Trustee Hogan.
Here.
Student Trustee Cooper.
Here.
Trustee Withrow.
Here.
Trustee Jenkins.
Here.
Trustee Handy.
Here.
Trustee Delphine Polk.
Here.
Trustee Bonilla.
Present.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan.
I'm right here.
Trustee Napolia Bellaris.
Yes, here.
You have a form.
Great, thank you. Let's progress to 2.4, affirmation of the statement of cooperation. Madam Board Clerk, could you put that up as well for everyone? And good evening, everyone. Okay. Number 1, the board is continuing to work on trust in and among our members. Number 2, we agreed to listen and seek to understand others and opposing viewpoints with the expectation of good intentions and a deep commitment to the district students. Number 3, we commit to being prepared for each meeting and to work within our established communication protocols when we seek additional information. Members will review the agenda in advance of each meeting and adhere to board policy 2340 for adding items to the agenda. Number 4, we have reviewed the board's code of ethics and commit to reviewing it annually at our organizational meeting to remind ourselves of the behavior we are to exhibit and the guidelines we are to follow in our role. Number 5, if the code of ethics is violated, we commit to follow the process stated in the code and will first address concerns informally to settle disagreements one-on-one between and among members before moving to the formal process. Number 6, we agree that from time to time, the chair will remind members of appropriate behavior and may call for a recess or redirect members if they stray from the topic of discussion. Number 7, we collectively recognize that it is within the duties and authority of the chair to render decisions or take actions to keep our meetings on track in adherence to the board policy. Number 8, we will strive to fulfill the vision we established for ourselves. And number 9, we will model the behavior we want others to exhibit. Okay, let's go to 2.5, report of action taken in closed session. Vice President Gonzalez Yuen.
Thank you. Trying to get up the document here. Thank you, Madam President. At tonight's closed session, the board voted on the following item. It was item 1.4, public employee appointment, and the board ratified the recommendation, approved the recommendation to appoint Sean Brooks as the Vice President of Administrative Services at Berkeley City College, effective August 18, 2021 through June 30, 2024, an annual salary of $161,402. That position reports to the college president. We also approved the recommendation to appoint Diane Chang as the Dean of Student Services, effective July 28, 2021 to June 30, 2023, at an annual salary of $138,345. This position reports to the college president at Laney College. The motion was made by Trustee Withrow, seconded by Trustee Handy, and it with 7 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions. That is all I have to report, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Gonzalez Yuen. Let us progress to 2.6, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Withrow. A second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Jenkins. Okay, roll call, please.
Student trustee Hogan,
Yes.
student trustee Cooper,
Here.
trustee Withrow,
Yes.
trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
trustee Handy,
Yes.
trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
trustee Bonilla,
Yes.
trustee Gonzalez Ewan,
Yes.
trustee Napolo Bellarice.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. 2.7, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Withrow.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Bonilla. Roll call, please.
Student trustee Hogan,
Yes.
student trustee Cooper,
Yes.
trustee Withrow,
Yes.
trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
trustee Handy,
Yes.
trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
trustee Bonilla,
Yes.
trustee Gonzalez Ewan,
Yes.
trustee Napoli Bellarice.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. 2.8, associated student government reports. Do we have our student leaders in the room? Sasha or Madam Board Clerk, do we have our?
The ASMC has nothing to report on this occasion.
Thank you, student trustee Cooper. Any other student leaders? No.
No,
Carol?
there are no other students in the attendees list.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to 2.9, Peralta Classified Center Report.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
We sure can.
Okay. Good evening, President Reese, members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Jackson, presidents, and guests. Tonight, we have one Classified Senate campus report. The report comes from the Merritt College Classified Senate. Merritt Classified Senate would like to welcome the following new senators to its team: Jamila Saleh, Saneed Anderson, Maria Spencer, and Susanna De La Torre. The following executive officers have been appointed to serve for the 2021 to 22 fiscal year: Tachetta Henry, Classified Senate President; Marisol Rogue Chavez, Classified Senate Vice President; Jamila Saleh, Treasurer; Margie Rubio, Secretary; and Maria Spencer, Public Information Officer. The Senate proposes to create a Merit Classified Symposium in which classified professionals may engage and discuss shared interests for the efficient growth of classified skills, problem-solving techniques, and further professional development opportunities for classifieds while promoting community, collegiality, and communication. We feel that with targeted programming and encouraged engagement that welcomes all classified voices at Merit, we can strive together to ensure that classified needs are met, concerns are addressed, and solutions are initiated to enhance the productivity and growth of all Merit classified professionals. On a point of personal privilege, I want to again return to the matter of classified employees returning to work. As of July 27th, California has 3.9 million confirmed cases of COVID-19, and there have been 64,265 deaths. State data shows the highly contagious Delta variant is now the most dominant version of virus in California. Understandably, classifieds are worried that there is no plan in place yet about returning to their work sites. The Peralta Classified Senate strongly advocates for the district to work with the classified unions to come up with return to work protocols, procedures, policies, including vaccination status, social distancing, mask, and plastic barriers, as well as a robust safety and security plan for our different campuses that will protect our students, classified professionals, faculty, and management before they return to work. That is the end of the campus reports. Thank you very much for your continued support of the Peralta Classified Senate.
Thank you, Terrence. 2.10, District Academic Senate Report.
Good evening, President Emeryville, members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Jackson, presidents, and everyone else. Summer session, the 6-week one, is over, and people are busy submitting grades. Hopefully, as Siri says, we got to have them in by next week. So I hope folks are doing it, and it's not just for the paperwork needs, but obviously for the students. Many of these students needed these summer grades for whatever they're applying to, and a speedy submittal of those grades would be greatly welcome. And I know that Siri has sent out messages to that effect. We're looking forward to going back to fall session. It's going to be about 4 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks before we come back. So we look forward to that. I do believe, as Terrence indicated, that as this Delta variant becomes more prevalent, I hear too many stories of people contracting it. I hope that along with Chancellor-elect or interim Chancellor Daisy Fuentes was indicating in a letter that the issue around mandatory vaccine is up to each of the districts or campuses, and so I hope we really look and address those and give people plenty of warning if we are going to try to address those types of issues. My concern is that as we go back to campus, we are going to do so in the spring. All of the stuff that Terrence was talking about, we certainly need to do, but we need to make sure that everybody is cognizant about what clearly is going to happen and how is it going to happen, and really make plans for their own families and for themselves in terms of coming back. And I think something clear, rather than, yes, we probably would most likely be back in the spring, and something much more definitive than that, certainly with a clear plan. And I know that each campus is different. Finally, we look forward to, as the academic senates of your colleges and of the district, working with everybody as we move forward with our accreditation. We know that there are reports being written and being submitted in the fall, and we look forward to seeing how we move along with all of our different plans. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing people after the board recess in August. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Donald. Now let's move to public communication. Vice President Gonzalez-Yuen. Do we have any public speakers today?
Thank you. I believe we have 3 public speakers. Sasha, if you can let our...
I'm sorry, we have 2.
I'm sorry, yes.
That's okay. We have Jeff Sinceri and Jennifer Shinoski, and I will move them both over.
Thank you, Ms. Jameson. I always confuse who's doing what role at what time. I'm glad there are 2 of you doing the work, though.
Yeah, it's been helpful.
Hi, good evening. It's Jennifer. Jeff is actually ceding his time to me. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk for 6 minutes, but I wanted to be sure. So,
President Shinoski, you have up to 6 minutes, apparently. Then
thanks.
You can
I'll try
start
not.
anytime.
Thanks. I'll try not to fill it. Good evening. I hope that this evening finds you all well and that you've been able to enjoy some of the glorious summer. I'm sure you've missed me the last few meetings while I took some time away with my kids after being confined for such a long time. There's two topics that I'd like to discuss tonight. The first is one that I hope you've already given attention to as it relates to the historic budget signed by Governor Newsom earlier this summer. In that budget, $100 million was set aside for districts to increase their full-time faculty ranks. The state agreed with us that running colleges on the backs of a contingent labor force is a fool's errand. This money is supposed to supplement any hires that were already approved, but the district must apply for it by August 15th. We hope that Peralta will take advantage of this opportunity and hire at least some of the positions that were put on hold for this year. The second issue is one that I've brought up to you before, and you all have too, and that's productivity. At the retreat, there was mention of an MOU related to productivity, and I just want to correct the record. There's no MOU restricting or setting productivity. In fact, it's the PFT's position that terms like productivity belong nowhere near education. It's a cumbersome and misleading term. What did happen last year relating to productivity was this. The district instructed the colleges to put together a schedule this year with fewer sections than it offered last year. We were slated to shrink our schedule despite increased funding. Our highest shared governance committee, the PGC, objected and voted to recommend funding at the same number of sections this year as last. That's it. And despite just saying that productivity shouldn't be mentioned in education, I'd like to mention it a bit more. I'd like us to really think about the term and why we apply it to our classroom instruction so forcefully, but we don't measure productivity for other segments of our district. We have crumbling buildings, websites that don't work, a schedule that has our colleges competing against each other, faculty that don't get paid on time, enrollment processes that are too cumbersome for students, phones that aren't answered, and classes that get canceled at the last minute because of poor scheduling decisions. These are all administrative functions. When are we going to start measuring the productivity of the administrators in charge of them? I'd like us to also think about why we're so interested in packing our classrooms with so many students. I'd like us to think about the fact that most students prefer small class sizes and the one-on-one interactions they afford. I'd like us to think about the fact that parents choose districts, colleges, and programs with small class sizes. I'd like us to think about why our students are reduced to numbers, to productivity targets. Aren't our students worth the investment in their education that we want for our own kids? When Peralta faculty say that teacher working conditions are student learning conditions, we aren't just repeating a slogan. We're saying that our students are worth it. And finally, in closing, I'm going to add a third thing, and that is the no on the recall campaign. I encourage all of you to get out and vote no on the recall and to join any canvassing or phone banking that's happening to ensure that we remain fully funded in public education in California. Thanks and have a good night.
Thank you very much. Maisha, is that
that was 3 minutes, 20 seconds. So looks like Jeff Sinceri would like to use the rest of his time.
Oh, all right.
He put it in the chat, yeah. So
Hey,
Jeffrey, you were out.
Yeah, I'll be super quick. I want to say hello to everybody. It's been a while since I've been on, so hello to our new our chancellor, and to our board, the presidents, and all the administrators and everybody present. It's going to be great in the fall, hopefully, to see you all, meet you all in person at some point. I'm looking forward to that. Looking over the agenda real quick, I just wanted to say something really quickly. For me, on the consent calendar, 4.1 sticks out. I want to welcome back Neil Systems, a consulting firm that seems to have virtually no web presence, but has a proven track record, of course, of being paid by Peralta. But honestly, looking at that, I look over the deliverables for that item, and it reads pretty much like the job description for Vice Chancellor of General Services itself. So, I'm playfully, I want to say, I guess my question is this: are administration folks out at a pool party that I wasn't invited to? I mean, I know that you guys can't answer me directly, so that's fine. But I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be looking at pools, see where they are. That's all. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. And Maisha, the third person was a no-show?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
President, I believe we're done with public comment.
Okay. Let's move to 2.12 then, Chancellor's reports. Chancellor?
I see Council's hand is up.
Oh. Natasha?
An error.
Oh, okay.
All right. Back to you,
Okay,
Chancellor.
thank you, everyone. Good evening. As I always say, I try to have the presidents on notice that they don't know who I'm going to call on first. So this evening, I'd like to start with College of Alameda, followed by Laney College, then Merritt College, and then finishing with Berkeley City College. So President Nathaniel Jones III, you have the floor.
Good evening, President Reese, trustees, Chancellor Jackson, colleagues, and guests. I would like to begin my report by highlighting the great work that is being done by COA's Career and Employment Center. Despite having its campus location closed during the pandemic, the Career Center has made extraordinary efforts to continue to support clients by providing important resources and services to many in our community who have been affected by the pandemic. The Career Center is staffed by a team of 9 dedicated and talented consultants and led by Director of Workforce Systems, Stephanie Bradshaw. Stephanie is a workforce development professional with a passion for providing career services to the hardest to serve and underserved members of the Alameda County community. The Alameda County Workforce Development Board funds the Career Center's operation. This funding allows the center to provide a range of free services to students and Alameda County residents who are unemployed, recently laid off, and those who are underemployed. The Career Center was able to achieve several notable accomplishments this year undeterred by the pandemic, including exceeding its county goal for the number of clients served, providing more than $100,000 in training to its clients, successfully placing 4 clients in full-time positions that includes medical benefits, helping clients by providing financial assistance with housing payments, utilities, and similar needs, as well as providing computers. The center team will continue its good work this year and look to increase its positive impact on the community. I would heartily like to thank Director Bradshaw and the entire Career Center team for their excellent work in meeting the needs of our community. At the 2021 Enrollment and Management Academy, which took place July 12th through the 15th, the College of Alameda team was recognized for our innovative scheduling model that incorporates student-centered funding formula, equity, as well as other key enrollment-related measure as part of its allocation of enrollment targets and funding. Lastly, for more than 60 years, Glamour magazine has honored exceptional college women across the US. This year, with the help of First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, the magazine turned its focus to students enrolled in community college. Glamour magazine selected community college students from around the country for their College Women of the Year annual feature. I'm proud to report this year's list included COA student Sabrina Valdez Rios, who also takes classes at Berkeley City College, where her father attended. Sabrina is an aspiring nursing student and a public health advocate. She has the aspiration of becoming mayor of Oakland someday. Congratulations, Sabrina, on your accomplishment. And this ends my report for this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Chancellor, members of the board, colleagues in education, and valued community members. I'd like to start my report this evening by officially welcoming out of the action taken in closed session, our new Dean of Student Services, Diane Chang. Though she is now new, she's been in this role officially. She's no stranger to it. She's been our acting dean in that role for the past year. And for the 2 years prior to that, served as Associate Dean of Educational Success. We're so glad that Diane is a part of our team. And just to let you know, in addition to being a great leader as it relates to our learning communities at Laney College, every morning as I walk to my office through a breezeway, I pass by the classroom that holds our GED, that under regular conditions holds our GED program, and realize that's one of Diane's legacies, for she is the one who essentially established the partnership. And through that partnership, we have hundreds of students completing their GEDs. So Diane, it's great to have you as continuing as part of our team, and welcome. Also, in the spirit of positive feelings toward colleagues, I would like to thank and congratulate Mr. Clifford Gibson, who earlier this month retired after nearly 48 years, that's right, 48 years of service to the college and the district. Prior to serving in his role as admissions and records clerk, he had also served as the college's public information. Speaking with Dr. Mildred Lewis, our Dean of Enrollment Services and Mr. Gibson's supervisor, I asked her to provide a few words, and I want to share them. His bright smile, friendly disposition, willingness to always serve our students, and collegiality will sorely be missed. Laney's students, staff, and community members would always stand in line and wait to be served by Cliff because of his history at the college and his outgoing disposition. He always made each student feel as if they were the only person in the room, and never rushed them to keep the line moving. He was someone who created a high value experience for each person he worked with. Later this summer at our Fall Flex Day at Laney, we will be honoring Mr. Gibson, but I would have been remiss if I didn't let the board know and how much we really appreciate his service. In the spirit of congratulations as well, I would like to say as much to our students who completed the summer semester, and thanks to our faculty, classified professionals, and administrators who supported our students during the summer. We were very proud to have concluded another successful CTE Summer Institute last week, which hosted 144 high school students and introduced them to college. This was a 6-week program that gave them an opportunity to look into our CTE programs as well as our campus resources that will help them achieve their educational goals. Reading over the curriculum for this Summer Institute is kind of cool, and I want to just share the things that these students had access to. Cosmetology, engineering, machining, and digital design, journalism, specifically information careers in the digital age, media, an introduction to the construction trades, and through electricity and electronics technology, electric bicycle building. And last week I was very pleased because Professor Frank Coe invited me to the final day of the final project day for his electric bike class. And actually in your board report, you will find a photo of not only the students and Professor Coe, but also Department Chair Farouk Hashimi. And they even made room for President Besikoff in the photo. And what was neat about this was not only did I get to show up and take a picture and congratulate all the students, but I got to see some very great demonstrations of electric motors that students had built this summer and put onto the bicycles, and of course with their helmets on, rode and tested out. So it was just a great experience, and really what summer school should be about, in my opinion, just the hands-on learning and all the great stuff that happens. So with that, I'll go ahead and conclude my report for this evening. Thank you very much.
All right, good job, Rudy. Good evening, President Napoli of Belarus, Board of Trustees, Chancellor, colleagues, and community members. Tonight, I want to focus my remarks on 2 local success stories. One more well-known than the other, but both are equally important. But before I go there, I would like to share a little something with you, kind of reiterating what President Jones said. Merritt College was also present at the Enrollment Management Academy sponsored by UC San Diego, where the training really provided our team with the tools, the resources, and perspectives to enhance our existing strategic enrollment management plan. So I just want to delineate a couple of key initiatives for Merritt College that we're committed to getting done. Number one, to build out a dashboard for student services to track efficiency and student movement through the enrollment process. Number two, to review student success and retention rates by program for Latinx and African-American students to develop strategies that address the barriers we've identified. Number three, to really get away from this bifurcation of the student service side and the Office of Instruction side, and really ensure that enrollment management planning includes our A&R office, counseling, and financial aid departments. And finally, to reevaluate our student enrollment data to better assess who our students really are. We have a lot of assumptions, but there have been some demographic shifts in the area, so we really need to be precise about who we're actually serving. Next, I want to take the opportunity to congratulate Miss Pamela Samuels, who was recently selected as a 2021 Coca-Cola Leaders of Promise Scholar. Now, the Leaders of Promise Scholarship annually recognizes about 200 or so Phi Theta Kappa members nationwide, and this year's recipients were chosen by a panel out of over 900 applicants. The scholarship initiative was launched in 2001, just a little background, by Coca-Cola Foundation to assist new Phi Theta Kappa members in obtaining associate degrees and encouraging participation in the society's programs. So I also want to note, by the way, that Pamela is the president of our Beta Theta Lambda chapter of Phi Theta Kappa. So again, we want to say great job, Pamela, for your outstanding leadership and the academic achievements that obviously help earn you this award. And finally, we're pleased to announce a recent partnership with the Lincoln University Athletic Department. For those who are a little less familiar with Lincoln University was founded roughly 100 years ago, and it's located in downtown Oakland. It's an accredited college, and it was looking for opportunities for their students to engage in student athletic competition. So as such, they're fielding a football team and a basketball team for the fall, and they're going to be conducting their practices and competitions here at Merritt College. So of note, a former NBA player and Oakland native, Gary Payton, was recently named the head coach of Lincoln University, the basketball team. And as a consequence of that, ESPN and HBO Sports were on our campus. I don't know if you've seen any of the social media yet, on our campus yesterday and today to document the process of putting the team together. So our hope is that by providing athletic facilities and forging this relationship, that Merritt students will come to see Lincoln University as a viable and attractive transfer destination. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you. Well, it gives me great pleasure to offer our closing remarks from the president. So good evening, President Napolia Bella-Reese, Dr. Jackson, members of the board, colleagues, and community members. My comments for this evening's report begins with acknowledging some great accomplishments and contributions. Our very own Dr. Stacy Shears has been actively involved with the Association of California Community College Administrators. She served as a board member, soon to be a former board member, and presenter. During the most recent Admin 101 session, Dr. Shears presented on equity and identity as an administrator. Her presentation made quite the impact when not one, not two, but 3 college presidents reached out to me today to request that the presentation be made to their leadership and equity teams. I'm truly grateful for Dr. Shears' leadership, not only to impact BCC's efforts for cultivating equity and racial support throughout our campus, but also throughout the statewide system. I also want to offer my sincerest gratitude and appreciation to Ms. Lenice Jones, Director of the Peralta Colleges Foundation, for her leadership in developing partnerships, donors, and opportunities that financially support students in their pursuit of higher education. What a remarkable year for BCC students and all students throughout our district. I know that you're in for a real treat when you see your presentation later this evening, highlighting the amazing students throughout the Peralta Colleges. We cannot do this work alone, and Lanisa's leadership, along with Board President Adam Sanchez and the other members of the foundation, they really make it possible for us to put money directly into the hands of students. So thank you so very much. I want to offer congratulations and welcome to Mr. Sean Brooks for his appointment as Berkeley City College's Vice President of Administrative Services. He joins Berkeley City College with a wealth of experience and including fiscal and accounting oversight, facilities development, and community resource development. He is a native of Oakland, and he shared with me that he is thrilled to be coming home to be of service in his community. We're excited for his arrival later this month, and I'm grateful to the board and the chancellor for your support of the appointment of our new colleague. And I do want to take this moment to thank Ms. Ava Lee Pang for her service to Berkeley City College, as she has recently served as the interim director of business and administrative services, and that was no small feat. As she joined us in January of 2021, she provided steadfast leadership and stability during a semester that included 2 visits with the commissioners for accreditation, a comprehensive site visit, launching a new integrated planning and allocation of resources committee, just really phenomenal work. And while we will miss her at BCC, I trust that President Jones and the College of Alameda are ready to have Ava come home. Really great news to share. On July 20th, the governing board of the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine, known as CIRM, voted to award just over $51 million to 15 community colleges and universities across California. This money is to fund programs that will help train the next generation of stem cell researchers. As part of the CIRM Bridges to Stem Cell Research and Therapy Program Award cohort, Berkeley City College was notified that we will receive over $2.8 million over the next 5 years. The CIRM Bridges to Stem Cell Research and Therapy Program provides students with the opportunity to take stem cell related courses and receive hands-on experience and training in a stem cell research related laboratory. This means that BCC students interested in pursuing a career in biotechnology will have the opportunity to obtain a 10-month paid internship throughout the Bay Area's many research laboratories to help accelerate their process or the process of stem cell research. These paid internships provide a level of access to high quality, competitive internships that are often unpaid, and unpaid internships further marginalize low income students who are also often first generation students of color. This does not happen alone. I'd like to thank Dr. Barbara DesRochers, lead faculty for our biotechnology program and fierce advocate for students in science. This is the second time BCC has received a CIRM award, the last one being during the 2009 through 2016 cycle. As we know, education can be a liberating and powerful driver for social and economic growth. And the fact that BCC students will have access over the next 5 years is truly phenomenal. Previous CIRM interns are now employed at UCSF, UC Berkeley, Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, Children's Hospital, Oakland Research Institute. They truly are throughout the greater Bay Area. So congratulations to the instructional team, the biotechnology program, and more importantly, to future CIRM interns at BCC for the next 5 years. As I close my comments for this evening, the college is in full preparation for the fall 2021 semester. Collaborative efforts throughout the administration, faculty, and classified professionals are underway to support student enrollment. With the start of the semester just a few weeks away, we're committed and focused on students having a seamless transition, making sure that they're aware of resources available to them, including Chromebooks, counseling, emergency aid grants, if students have been impacted by COVID-19. The college's integrated strategic enrollment management plan was recently recognized during the most statewide enrollment academy that was hosted at UC San Diego. Key elements were that it's integrated with instruction and student services, that we update it every 2 to 3 years so that we can ensure to meet the needs of students. And with that, we've been able to keep pace with our growth in dual enrollment and our growing Latino, Latina, Latinx student population. So this collective effort allows us to pivot quickly. And so as we're nearing the start of the fall semester, trust me that the team is working collectively to keep students informed. And connected to the getting ready for the fall 2021 semester, our professional development committee, led by faculty member Susan Kahn, has been working hard to provide another impactful opening to the year. The current theme that's under construction is transforming our institution to transform student scholar lives, really themed and connected to equity and racial justice commitments. And I'm really honored to work with faculty, classified professionals, and administrators who really make it their business, if you will, to have Berkeley City College be home for students. So BCC is ready to meet students, support classified professionals, and welcome faculty back for the start of another dynamic year. Thank you very much. And that concludes my comments for this evening.
Thank you, Presidents. I'd like to conclude my report with acknowledging the comments tonight from two of our participatory governance bodies, the Classified Senate and the District Academic Senate, regarding our return to campus and the pandemic. I want to announce that the Board of Trustees has directed staff to develop a clear, cohesive vaccination policy in light of Governor Newsom's announcement yesterday that state employees and healthcare workers must show proof of vaccination or get tested regularly. The district staff have been working diligently with our bargaining units as we finalize our plans for return to campus, so that our recommended policy will be adopted by the board prior to the opening of fall classes in August. And that it should also be noted that given the fluidity of the pandemic, our policy may change as conditions and guidance change. So please stay tuned. We hope to get that out within the next 5 to 10 days. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Presidents, and thank you, Chancellor. Trustees, do we have any comments, questions? We're good. Okay. Let us move then to 3.0, or informational items. Let's go to 3.1, PCF and PCCD presentation by Laney Jones.
It's actually going to be presented by Adam Sanchez tonight.
Okay.
And are you ready for me to share my screen, or would you like to share yours?
Please, Manisha, may you share yours, please?
Sure.
Well, that's a tough act to follow, all these wonderful scholars and committed professionals. Good evening, folks. My name is Adam Sanchez. First, good evening, President Reese, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Jackson, Peralta students, esteemed colleagues, and of course to our wonderful Peralta community. I am Adam Sanchez, and I serve in a privileged capacity as president of the Peralta College Foundation Board of Directors, and have been a board member for going on 7 years almost. And I'm here to share with you a quick update about our revitalized PCF operations under the leadership of our executive director, Laney Jones. And I'm here asking for your renewed partnership as we build our relationship amongst and with our beloved community. Please change the slide. This is a quick overview and agenda. The high points are the foundation mission. Our background now is coming on 50 years this next year. And it's such a wonderful time to reach out and help our students through our scholarship programs, through funding support streams. And we have been able to meet on a 3 to 5 year funding goal in order to, excuse me, I lost my track here. Sorry about that, folks. 3 to 5 year funding raising goals and financial support recap, and of course the district partnership and recommitment ask. Please change the slide, nice. As you folks all know, we are a 501c3 institution or organization, and we support all the 4 colleges and the PCCD in its mission to help provide scholarship and to receive donations and whatnot from our wonderful community. And I myself have been gracious. I've been, how should I say, so privileged as well to be a graduate of both Laney College and College of Alameda some 25 years ago. Of course, now we have Vista, which is now Dr. Garcia, Berkeley Community College, and Merritt College. And we really exist to enhance the intellectual and cultural and educational needs of our students, faculty, and staff, and of course, our wonderful community for which we serve, by raising funds that are so very necessary and vital in this age of challenging pandemics and social economic plight and whatnot. Next slide, please. This is a bit of a historical background, and it talks about some of, as of 2010, Chancellor Harris and the PCC trustees and the PCF board acted to make the foundation more independent. And in so doing, we were able to be set up and help support the institutions of the wonderful community colleges for which we serve. Excitingly, this year marks the foundation's 50th year anniversary, as I was noting before. The foundation also manages a host of college fund accounts and community relations and development opportunities. We manage over 100 accounts, which manage to support the college's programs from athletics, cybersecurity, the Fab Lab, Promise Funds, PACLA, Latinx graduation, PAW graduation, and undocumented community resource center, just to name a few. As part of this investment portfolio, the foundation manages temporary and permanent restricted net assets. The foundation manages a 25-person board of directors, which include our wonderful community, corporate and business leaders, and graduates of the community colleges ourselves in some cases. And of course, we support our college presidents and our chancellor and 2 board of trustees as well on our board. Our community relations outreach successes to date include the partnership with Eat, Learn, Pray Foundation and World Central Kitchen, whom have been providing hot meals to all the colleges since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. And they've totaled more than $1.5 million of assets in value. And also a new partnership with the First Family Foundation, who are the founders of the Oakland NFL standouts, Josh Johnson and Marshawn Lynch, whom they themselves have donated and distributed 75 high-end laptop computers to students this past February. Next slide, please. Thank you. We touched on this. Key to this is we receive the donations, gifts, and bequests from our community, and we help support the college district. These monies to fund the scholarships, as I said before, help to support the financial support and faculty of classrooms for their classrooms and their student activities. It's a really incredible time to be part of the Peralta system. Next slide, please. This year alone, that just passed, we were able to assist 290 scholarships in excess of $186,000 directly to the students for which we serve. And right here is a little snippet from one of our testimonies, if you will. Aisha, could you please click on Crystal Swans?
I will. And you guys give me a thumbs up if you do hear it, please. Share my screen.
This really is a validation of our support and for those folks who which we serve.
I'm going to need to share my screen to a second. You guys hear it?
I hear it. I think the video is catching up.
Greetings. My name is Crystal. With all sincerity, I would like to thank the Peralta Colleges Foundation for the gracious awards that I've been blessed to receive. These awards will endorse my educational success and aid in securing necessities such as technology, books, school supplies, food, and housing expenses for myself and my family as I continue to propel my academic career. I heard about the Peralta Colleges Foundation scholarships through Berkeley City College's Society of Scholars Counselors, Skylar and Christina. I myself am a low-income reentry student. Scholarships give relief to the stresses of your financial burdens and allow you to have more time to focus on your studies. I highly encourage you to apply for any and every scholarship that you can. I am honored to be an award recipient. The money is here to support you along your academic journey throughout Peralta. Apply, apply, apply. Best wishes.
That is incredible. And like I was saying, this was just hosted this past May. Thank you toast that was organized by the foundation. And we had over 200 student scholarship volunteer readers just to read all the testimonials, read through the different essays of folks requesting support. Next slide, please. We are immensely proud of the diversity amongst our amazing students receiving these awards. All of these students took the time to record brief messages of gratitude. Obviously, we won't go into them now, but it would be real life affirming for you folks to go on your own time and look at some of these. They are just incredible. I am just so amazed by the talent and the diversity of our folks and our students specifically. And next slide, please. Now, for the records of these insightful words of gratitude from a few of our scholarship recipients from East College, small snippets. Dave said, I will be using the scholarship towards my tuition as an environmental studies major. It is definitely something I needed. I transferred from out of state and my financial aid was overextended. This scholarship gives me a little bit of wiggle room. I can wholly relate to that. As a veteran transferring back into civilian life, I worked right there in close concert with the College of Alameda and Laney through the Veterans Affairs Center to help me get back on my feet and reintegrate into society and be a productive member. Next slide, please. We were able to meet and have these surveys that were sent to the 4 college presidents to ask them specifically what they were looking for in terms of support. And all of these different high points were the individual contributions, the revenue fees, corporate giving, fundraising events. And this just shows some of the fundraising support streams for the foundation, of the foundation rather. Next slide, please. And this is what I was alluding to earlier, excuse me. So the 4 college presidents gave back the survey and they said, this is their focus, their intended use of this strategic initiative that we're looking to raise in the next 3 to 5 years of $1 million. 1, student and scholarship aid, college program and support, infrastructure support, and of course the endowment fund, development fund, resources rather. Next slide, please. So all this goes on in support of the students from our golf tournament to March Madness, where we had an online auction. We had the March Madness that was organized by our board, specifically Lanice and her wonderful team, her staff. And obviously, in order to have good support, we need to spend money to make money, and we need to get professional staff on to help support in these types of goals and initiatives. And over the last few months, as I was alluding to, our board engaged in a series of strategic planning sessions, started by Chuck Middleton of AGB, and then our resident board member, Dr. Robin Fisher of RT Fisher Industrial Educational Enterprises, who led our second task force session. And then for sessions 3, we engaged our Los Angeles-based organizational concepts for development and strategy consultation with Dr. Melvin Music. From these 3 planning sessions, we were able to muster the support and focus and to develop our resources and streamline our initiatives. Next slide, please. Here's a brief summary of our relationship with PCCD since 2011. And the support for the foundation has been from anywhere from $95,000 per annum to $250,000, depending upon the need, depending upon the resources, obviously, that we all are working with. And this just shows a breakout of different amounts that were granted to PCF through PCCD. And of course, it helps build onto this pyramid of education and support of our students. Next slide, please. This is the ask again, the intended use and our breakout for our strategy. This is a recommitment that we would be included into the master agreement and cover our strategic plan covering from 2021 to 2025. Next slide, please. In review of the grant history, we've made significant progress over the last 6, almost 7 years here being on the board of directors for PCF. I can tell you, we know we've had some struggle with leadership on both sides from both the PCCD and PCF. And we know that now with our professional staff on board and a recommitment from PCCD to help with our master agreement, this will help fund and help us stay on point for our strategic plan that carry us into 2025. So I want to just take the time to say thank you so very much for your time and consideration. It is all about our cherished students and building the community relationships. Bloom where we're planted. Thank you, folks. Sorry as I struggle through the
No worries.
Dayquil that I've been taking for my allergy.
Thank you, Adam. That was a fantastic presentation. It's really great to see how much the foundation is doing for students and also for students through supporting the colleges as well. Trustees, I see a few hands up for questions. Trustee Jenkins?
No questions for me. I just want to thank Adam and Lanice, especially Lanice. She's done an amazing job in providing stabilization to our foundation. She's done a great job of creating partnerships and raising money, working with the colleges. So I really want to take the time to thank her, the fundraising chair, and everybody who's on the board that gives their time and gets funds for our students. They are much needed. And so thank all of you guys that are on the Peralta board, and especially you, Lanice.
Thank you, Kevin. Trustee Delphine Polk, and then student trustee Cooper, and then trustee Handy.
Yes, I wanted to echo Trustee Jenkins' praise of the board at PCF. I'm also on the board, and so it's been a really great experience since I've come on board fall as a new trustee, to really meet other folks and to see how much people care. When I was in community college, I relied very heavily on scholarships because I was also a low-income student. And so this is really important work, and I'm really glad that you're here, Adam, to showcase that for all of us. Thank you.
Student trustee Cooper.
Hey there. So I am still, in my learning process about everything. I had, I was well familiar with Peralta Foundation or Peralta Colleges Foundation's focus on scholarships, but this is my first time learning about endowments and what those can look like. I was wondering if you could tell me where myself or other students could look into what some of these endowments are being invested in, or where some records of those forms might be. Are they provided on the Peralta College Foundation website, perhaps?
It is exactly the Peralta College Foundation website. And it's a great resource because we do it every year. So it's an annual fundraising event. And through supporting all of us who were students, and do these different types of activities that we have, from like the March Madness to the golf tourney, to our own commitment as board members to help raise money, obviously, to help support the students as well. So definitely we look forward to continue serving.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Handy.
Hi, I've been on the foundation since I started at Peralta some 19 years ago, and watched how our employees, when we did not have a director or even a department, our employees worked so hard to create the Peralta Gala. And then Trustee Riley came in with the idea of the golf tournament and filled all the golf tournaments himself with his friends, and they flew in from everywhere and helped us to raise our first $1 million. That's when we decided to get a director and all of that. And we've had some fits and starts, but I have to tell you, since Laney Jones has taken over the foundation, it has grown in a way that I never expected. She has selected the most wonderful people who have a true commitment to our students to come and join the foundation as members. Deanna, I am so glad that you have joined. I've tried to get others to join, because 19 years is a long time to be on one committee. And I'm just grateful because you get an opportunity to see. Something else that I just want to say while we're at it, again, congratulations on this. I'm so glad that you're going to be honoring Dr. Riley at the golf tournament and have named it after him, because again, without him, we wouldn't have raised that first $1 million. But I also want to say to you all too, is that if you can, any amount can really help. If you can just give $25 out of any paycheck, that really helps the foundation. And even small amounts grow into larger amounts. And you can identify them for specific needs. Like I have donated from my paycheck the entire time I've been at Peralta for the Congressional Black Caucus funds, because we used to have to raise the money for that. Now that we've had it taken internally and it's institutionalized, we can now take that money and use it and move it over into other areas that can support students in any way. It's a small amount, you don't feel it, but I just want to encourage everyone, if you can make that monthly commitment to the foundation, you're really contributing to an incredible cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Handy. Okay, I think we're good. That's a latent hand that I see from Student Trustee Cooper. Okay. Is that a current hand? Okay, great. Thank you, Adam. Thank you again. And we'll see you the next time you present to us, hopefully soon, with more great days.
Definitely. Thank
and
you.
more
Thank
students
you.
helped.
I appreciate it. It really is a privilege. It really is about helping our students, our community. I am a wholehearted and believer of blooming where we are planted. And I can't think of a better place anywhere in the United States. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Let's move on to the next item, 3.2, risk management update by Chief of Staff Earl Roberts.
Thank you.
You want me to share my screen, Royal, or you got it?
Sure, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Okay.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you, Board of Trustee President, Vice President, Chancellor, trustees, and colleagues. Tonight, I will give a risk management plan update. I do want to mention that this plan, or this actual presentation was ready some time ago with all the transition. So that's why you see the April date. The other thing I want to mention about this presentation is, in the past, what I've done is give more of a quarterly or mid-year report. What was asked by some of the trustees, maybe even a year back or so, was to give a more of a comprehensive look, maybe over 3 to 4 years. So that's more of what this report will have. I won't go through each and every slide, but I do want to first start by thanking Ms. Carrie Burdick, because as most of you know, I transitioned somewhat out of risk management a while back and somewhat still in risk management, just won't let me go. But I do want to mention that back in April, around the time our previous chancellor left, the risk management department actually received a effective claim management rebate in the amount of $271,300. And that was basically for effective claim management. And I want to thank Chancellor Jackson because she actually mentioned it, but it happened right on her arrival. So it was kind of lost in on her arrival a little bit. So with that, Maisha, if you could go to slide number 2. And alrighty, so this gives a general overview. And as I mentioned, what this report does, it goes from 2015 to 16 through 1920. And in addition to covering a number of years, it also, toward the end of this report, gives an idea of similarly situated districts and how they look with regards to property values, employee count, and also payroll. So if you can just, as a kind of a guiding post, you can see kind of our FTES and also from a liability standpoint, what our claims have done over the past few years. If you look over to the right, you'll see the property occurrence and total insured value. You'll see kind of a jump in our total insured value from 2018-19 to 2019-20. I believe the reason for that is because they came out and did a overall property survey. So that probably captured some increase in property values that may not have been realized over a few years. So that's why you see that 621 up to 779. If you look down to the teal color, the auto occurrence, you see our vehicle count has increased slightly over the years. And I'm knocking on wood, as always in risk management, that we've been very fortunate not to have many vehicle accidents. And I say that, very cautiously. From a work comp standpoint, you see that we had a dip in our occurrences, and then it started to rise a little bit. And as I'll go to another slide, you'll see the cause of that. We've had some strains and pulls and some, aging workforce. And in the recommendations, what you'll see is kind of around some additional training that is recommended for us to continue to do. With that, we can move through to slide 4. And again, I'm doing this from a time standpoint, but if any trustees later have any questions, please feel free to send those. And also the nature of, specifically work comp, but also the liability claims. I keep it somewhat at a high level to make sure we don't get into people's, specific personal information. As you see here, you can see the number of occurrences, the total incurred, the reserve, and the total paid. So what really sticks out for that total paid in 2015 and 2016, and I would like to mention that's before I came back to the district as a risk manager, but there was a large claim that had to do with either some fumigation or something in one of the buildings that really kind of threw our claim situation a little bit out of whack. But moving from 17, 18, 18, 19, and even 19, 20, we were able to somewhat get that rein that in. And if we move forward through the slides, I think slide 11 would probably be the most, slide 11 would probably be the most. And again, I can touch on any of these. but I wanted to just touch on kind of the location and cause. And I wanted to first say, when you see District Administrative Center for, you know, a lot of some of the claims, sometimes when reporting from an insurance standpoint, if they don't know particularly what location, it all gets dumped into the District Administrative Center. But in this case, this is showing by location some of the things that we've had to deal with from a claim standpoint. Drainage, runoff, plumbing fixtures, water spills, leaks, and then also main leak failure, and also sewage backup. If you could go to slide 15. I wanted to touch on and you can see, you'll see as if you choose to go through each and every slide, but the difference between indemnity claims, or excuse me, litigated claims and non-litigated claims. If you see in the little box there, the average cost of per litigated indemnity claims is $94,000, and it's $25,389 per non-litigated indemnity claim. We also have what are known as medical only claims, and that involves minor accidents that employees may have where they need to go to our company nurse, or they may sit out a few days, non-major injuries that don't require them either not being able to do their job for some amount of time, where they have to be off from work and basically being paid while they're recovering from an injury. And if you could just go right to the next slide, 16. This gives an idea of the type of injury per occurrence and also by severity. So again, you'll see the strain or injured, strain or injury, 60 claims for 33% of the amount incurred. Next, you see the fall, slip, trip, 30% of those, 35%. And this is, a lot of times we see people, tripping over cords, tripping over computers, trying to sit down and there's no chair behind them. So really things that, the work comp system is the no fault system. And what that means is when you get injured at work, the work comp system comes into play. We don't look at, oh, you shouldn't have did that. So all we can do is just train, and increase awareness of individuals. If we could go to slide 18. By occupation, this is always helpful information. Office staff, custodial staff, instructors, ground staff, and management staff. So that, again, as you go through this report on your own at your leisure, you'll be able to kind of see the breakout as to who's getting injured and what type of injury they're sustaining. But as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be very important that we continue to look at these things, especially when people come back to the office, because in a sense, they have to get reacclimated to their surroundings if they've been away for some time. We'll go to slide 20. There we go. So this is what I was mentioning earlier with a little bit of a comparison. There's no district that's a mirror of us. And also what we realize is that our specific insurance carrier may not be the same carrier for, all of our, the Bay 10 or so on and so forth. But again, this gives us a look at the FTES as well as our property values. And what they did is try to look at comparable ASCIP members, that is our insurance carrier, and then also look at what their FTEs are and their property value in millions. So as you can see, our property values as a district are, in this sense, quite a bit more than some of our other districts. You can go to the next one right after this, I believe. I don't have the next one written down, but I think This is our property claims. That's not as exciting. The next one I have written down is slide 26. Yes, workers' comp claim. And the reason that I bring this up is, as I touched on earlier, we have two types of claims: indemnity claim and medical only. Generally, the indemnity claims are those for you go get patched up and you're back to work at a reg. Uh-oh, did I can you still hear me okay? Yes, okay. So what we have to, as a district, really work on reducing the number of claims which result in people having to stay off of work. And what we did in 2016, 2017 is we introduced a program called Return to Work. And what that program does is it allows people to come back, and even if they are not able to do their regular job, in the sense of they may not be able to lift 25 pounds or 30 pounds, is there another job that would serve us as a district that they would be able to do and not miss work? And what that also allows them to do is not get out of the rhythm or get complacent by being at home. The last slide I would like to touch on is slide number 29. It's probably the last slide. Yes. And this is the recommendations. These are the recommendations, I should say. And these are going to be very important, specifically with the returning back from COVID, but just overall. We will continue to conduct slip, trip, fall assessments on the physical sites. And that's going to include lighting, stairways, premises conditions. We have a lot of older campuses, and if you just walk around those campuses, you'll see a lot of uneven sidewalks and not well-lit areas. And the cost to fix those things are well worth it in the amount that we will have to pay if someone gets injured. So really looking at those types of things. Also looking at work group specific training, lifting, preventing back injuries. Also, the other issue that's not so much a physical thing is really district-wide plans for training on supervisors. One thing I didn't dive into as much, but we do have some liability claims that stem from what's called employee practices liabilities. So what that means is we really need to train our managers to effectively communicate with people on an ongoing basis to prevent those people from turning around and for whatever reason, filing suits. Finally, we have implemented an online learning management system. Right as we got it off the ground, we went into COVID, but that is one accomplishment that the risk management department was able to do last year before COVID. And then I think that's it for my report. I'm more than willing to answer any questions anyone may have, and appreciate the opportunity.
Trustees, thank you for that, Royal. Trustees, do I have any questions? Student Trustee Cooper.
Hello, thank you so much for that report and presentation. In terms of recommendations in regards to risk management, you mentioned things in the area of trainings, making sure folks are equipped to make sure that they aren't creating any liabilities or issues. One area in which I would just like to provide some feedback, I feel I have seen overlooked, sometimes innocently, sometimes not so much. I feel a great many of our faculty and instructors are not as well trained and equipped with awareness about ADA compliance and compliance with accommodations, as in some cases is even fair to those faculty members, especially in Zoom times. Recording accommodations that I personally depend on can never be interpreted as an invasion of privacy. That's harmful to us who need those accommodations. But I understand how someone who's never addressed that kind of a conversation as an instructor might feel invaded in their first impression. And unfortunately, when that's not addressed in trainings, as I've experienced myself, that's all too frequently put upon the student, where the student has to hear that the teacher feels their accommodations are invasive, and that creates so many difficult pressures for us to mitigate, navigate, sometimes can even inadvertently intimidate the meeker of us out of proceeding with seeking our accommodations that we need. So I just want to draw a little extra attention to that one. I think our liability and legal record definitely shows the extra attention to making sure we aren't having disability related violations is something that will yield endless rewards and relief for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I think you're off the hook. Royal. All right, thank you. Let us move to the consent calendar. Can I have a motion for the consent calendar, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Jenkins. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Handy. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan,
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper,
Yes.
Trustee Withrow,
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
Trustee Handy,
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan.
He stepped away for a bit, so absent.
Okay, absent. Thank you. Trustee Napolia Bellaris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We are at action items. 5.1, delegation of authority during board recess for August 2021. Chancellor? Do I have a motion for this?
Move.
Thank you, Trustee Withrow.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Jenkins. Discussion? Okay, roll call.
Student Trustee Hogan,
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper,
Yes.
Trustee Withrow,
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
Trustee Handy,
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan. Is he still away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's still away.
Thank you. Trustee Napolia Bellaris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 5.2, consider approval of an academic faculty personnel item. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Withrow. Need that second.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Jenkins. Discussion. Right, roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan.
Student Trustee Cooper.
Yes.
Hello. This is 5.2, correct?
No, this is 5.3. Oh, 5.2, you are correct.
Yes.
Okay. And this personnel item, this is a hiring?
Yes, this is.
Okay. So I have two questions. I'll ask them at once because it may be a simple yes or no for the same. One, does this hiring action honor the feedback of the Peralta FICMAT report regarding unsustainable budget formulas due to a combination of declining enrollment and increased staffing? And has this action been reviewed through consistent multidisciplined oversight of position control and the hiring process implemented to prevent unexpected, unauthorized budget expenses from occurring as cited in the FICMAT report.
I believe this is a grant position, but I will give this to Chancellor McKinley or through the Chancellor, President Garcia.
I would defer to Vice Chancellor McKinley since I'm choking right now. But
Yes.
the answer is yes and yes.
That is correct. Yes and yes.
That's plenty for me. Thanks so much, y'all.
We can continue with a roll call. Thank you, Sasha.
You're welcome. Student Trustee Hogan.
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper.
Yes.
Trustee Withrow. Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee Handy.
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk.
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Yuan is absent.
No, I'm here. I'm back.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Napoleon Bellaris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We're on 5.3, consider approval of classified personnel item. Motion. Thank you, Trustee Withrow.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Bonilla. Discussion. Student Trustee Cooper.
With the same question, would this be another yes and yes on this hiring being in accordance with our FICMAT recommendations?
That's correct.
Yes and yes. And just as an aside, Student Trustee Cooper, all of the recommendations that are coming forward for hires within this next academic year were approved by the board at their May 25th meeting. So they've already been vetted. They've gone through the shared governance process. They're prioritized hires. They don't impact the budget, and we can sustain those hires in the future.
Thank you.
Okay. 5.4, consider approval of consent.
We didn't do the roll call.
Oh, thank you. I have a fly buzzing around me, so I'm going to be off camera for a second.
Student Trustee Hogan.
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper.
Yes.
Trustee Withrow.
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee Handy.
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk.
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Yuan.
Yes.
Trustee Napoleon Bellaris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now we are at 5.4. Consider approval of a tentative agreement between the district and the Peralta Federation of Teachers, Local 1603, regarding reopeners for contract years 2020 to 2021 and 2021 to 2022. Motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Trustee Withrow and second by Trustee Polk, Delphine Polk. Discussion. Student Trustee Cooper.
I'm still getting a little familiarized with the processes here. Was there an opportunity that the board was provided to review this contract in advance of this meeting that I failed to notice?
Yes, we do that at our, the trustees do that at our, the board trustees do that at our session.
We as in the student trustees received this as well?
Not the student trustees, the trustees, the other trustees, not the student trustees.
Okay. Is this like a confidential closed meeting type of contract? I see. So students would not legally be allowed to review such a contract in advance. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan.
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper.
Abstain?
Trustee Withrow.
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee Handy.
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk.
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Yuan.
Yes.
Trustee Napoleon Bellaris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 5.5, consider second reading and approval of FY 2020-2021 EEO Fund Multiple Method Allocation Certification Report.
Mhm.
So moved.
So thank you, Trustee Withrow. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Bonilla. Discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan,
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper,
Yes.
Trustee Withrow,
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
Trustee Handy,
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan,
Yes.
Trustee Napoli Bellarice.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 5.6, consider approval of resolution number 21/22-36 to authorize local agreement number CSPP 1022 and to renew the contract for the 2021-2022 fiscal year with the California Department of Education to provide health, childcare, and developmental services.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Bonilla. And second by Trustee Withrow. Discussion. Student Trustee Cooper.
I just want to express my gratitude that this item's on the agenda. This means a lot to me, and this has been a highlight issue that's been impacting our students that I've been trying to source and provide feedback about. So this is a huge relief to me to see. I know many suffering and impacted students will be aided in accessing their education due to ability to access childcare. Thank you all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Student Trustee Hogan, Student Trustee Hogan, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. hear
Yes.
you. Student Trustee Cooper,
Yes.
Trustee Withrow,
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins,
Yes.
Trustee Handy,
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk,
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan,
Yes.
Trustee Napoli Bellarice.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 5.7, consider approval of a list of firms to provide commissioning services district-wide.
Madam President, I'd like to move the balance of this agenda on the action items. I believe these are all general services items. And unless there's some particular call out, I see no reason to take these one by one. So I'd like to move the balance of the agenda up to item 5.18.
Yes. There you go.
So Trustee Gonzalez Yuen moved, and then Trustee Withrow seconded. Discussion. Student Trustee Cooper.
The only ones that I was hopeful about, well, I suppose that I could still ask a question about a specific one or two things if they were a singular item, right?
Would it be best procedurally, and I think that this question is going out to either legal and or our expert parliamentarian, Trustee Gonzalez Yuen, would it be better to remove whatever items those were rather than to just generally ask a question in lump sum?
I don't think it will matter. So for expedience, I would just leave them as a group and then have the student trustee ask the question and have conversation about a discussion about it.
I concur, since it would be under the discussion item, if we were doing them separately or doing them as a bulk, doing them as a bulk vote.
Excellent. Okay, so we are now at discussion. Student Trustee Cooper, you're welcome to make your comment or ask your question.
Oh, okay. So that approved grouping it together?
As a bulk, yes.
Okay, sorry, excuse me. So my only question was just a clarification on 5.17 and 5.18. I was just unfamiliar with what these consultations and special services were for. I was imagining that this might be for like our Merritt College campus is on fire watch. I know that there's someone who has to walk around and make sure it's safe with a clipboard 24/7, if I'm not mistaken. So is 5.17 and 5.8 to assess how to get started with addressing those issues? Or sort of issues?
I would ask Interim Vice Chancellor Smith to address those. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. And both of these items are to keep us off of Firewatch so that we are not penalized on a daily basis. And this is district-wide, and it also includes the district office. So yes, the second item, 5.18, is a 3-year commitment, and the first one is a 1-year commitment. So yes, it is to keep us off of Firewatch.
And one more question of clarification, just making sure that there's no way that 5.17 or 5.18 might be viewed as anything that could cause delay or deprioritization of the physical updates that need to occur in relation to fire safety. Are those part of this, the figuring out what those physical updates are that we need to do? Or is this simply a service to serve in place of those updates being made, the alarms, the safety protocol?
Yes, both of them are regularly scheduled so that there is a schedule that they have to maintain, and there is a protocol that they have to respond to when there is an occurrence or an emergency. So both of these items will cover that.
Thank you.
And I don't see any more hands up. I want to thank the Chancellor, and I know that we are doing it in bulk, but I want to actually thank the Chancellor for leaving all of these not on the consent. And being that this is our last meeting until September 14 at our board agenda review, many of the contracts were not quite ready, but I really appreciate that instead of going right to consent, she placed them all in action to ensure that we were apprised and that we were able to look through and talk about each of them if we needed it. So thank you for that, Chancellor. Roll call, please, Madam Board Clerk.
Student Trustee Hogan.
Yes.
Student Trustee Cooper.
Yes.
Trustee Withrow.
Yes.
Trustee Jenkins.
Yes.
Trustee Handy.
Yes.
Trustee Delphine Polk.
Yes.
Trustee Bonilla.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez Ewan.
Yes, and along with that, a word of appreciation to General Services. It's clear they're working amazingly hard under incredibly difficult circumstances. So thank you very much for bringing these items to us.
Thank you.
Trustee Napolia Bellarice.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And we are at the end of our agenda. We are at Board of Trustees reports. Let me go to our student trustees first. Student Trustee Hogan. Okay, thank you. Student Trustee Cooper.
I do not have reports for this meeting. I'll just thank Chancellor Jackson for, as was mentioned, putting these on the action calendar. And I'd like to thank Trustee Reese for contextualizing that decision for us. I wouldn't have been aware that intention was made in consideration to us. I'm sure in consideration to new members as well. So thank you for the opportunity to ask whatever we need and for you to helping us understand that's what happened.
Excuse me, President Napolia Bellarice. I know this is a bit out of order, but I would like for the 2 new student trustees, in case you forgot, you got some orientation and training. Would either of you like to speak to that? I think the board would love to hear about that training. Student Trustee Hogan, you can go first. Ladies first.
The training was very informational to me. This is all new to me, like I explained the first 2 meetings that we had. So all of the information that I'm getting is useful, and everything was it was straightforward. And you also had some just the information was good. I didn't see a problem with it. It informed me on the Brown Act, and it went into detail. So the detail was it was informational for me. I didn't have a problem with it. I wasn't bored, so that's a good.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
So thank you, and I appreciate you thinking of us to even have that available, because I definitely needed it. So thank you.
You're welcome, Trustee Hogan. And Trustee Cooper?
I liked aspects of it. What I didn't like, I offer not in criticism, but in constructive feedback, just for future adjustments. I feel like it was a bit rudimentary in terms of its introduction to Brown Act, for example, which some of our positions have got some of us familiarized with a bit already. I understand a new training, multiple individuals, you got to start at the beginning, progress forward, but a little room to ask more, I suppose, advanced questions or very specific questions about how to accomplish this through my role, or what to do if I encounter this challenge in my role, are things that I would have really valued more of an opportunity to engage, dig further into, and get more insightful information from. And the one thing I really didn't feel was the single best thing also was having the start and the center of this training and introduction to Brown Act being from a legal representative of the Peralta district in conjunction with the police commission, which I found surprising. But the reason that felt a little odd to me is because here we are, student trustees acting sort of as student oversight, making sure that a student voice, student awareness of what's going on in this board is present, and being trained by the individual that would defend this district and board in a legal case to perform student oversight just really didn't feel like it made sense. But I didn't hate everything about it, and I am really glad for what it was able to provide to current and future individuals who are just fresh into this world. I know I feel green even after a year and a half of digging as deep into it as I can. So I would just feel very honored if any of that feedback was taken and proactively applied to next year's trainings. Thank you all so much, and I really appreciate you asking about that. That means a lot.
Thank you. We do value your feedback, so thank you very much for giving the board an idea of how the training went. Thank you.
And I'll just say, Trustee Cooper, I will share my experience for just a second. I can't imagine anybody but our lawyers actually doing a Brown Act training, because you want the expertise, all of that wouldn't necessarily come from anybody else. But truly, your feedback is very important. The other thing that I wanted to do was circle back. You had a question that I did not see your hand for. So do you want to ask that question, even though it's in the report section of the meeting?
Sure. I can't
if you can
remember exactly how I would have asked it in question format, if it's okay for me to just give the feedback, but I'm just really interested in this development of this comprehensive vaccine policy, return to campus plans, all these sort of things. I have a lot of concerns. I'm getting a lot of student feedback, which is surprising, because sometimes actually getting the student voice in front of me is one of my biggest challenges. So that says this one's really important to them. And I want to have an opportunity to connect that student feedback into this planning. So if there's a committee or meetings or anything that I should be present at where this is being discussed, I would love to take part in that. And additionally, I just really hope that we will have consideration, not just for students, but for classified staff and faculty in any scenario where we don't necessarily have to pick and choose between exclusively offering
remote or live settings. Obviously, this can't be done across the board. It'd be impossible from a funding and implementation standpoint, but there will be opportunities where we can reasonably, say, stream a live class to an online, Canvas shell, or allow, as odd as this might sound, even potentially allow an instructor to stream their instruction to a live classroom from the safety of their own home. I know that instructors also have disability, accessibility, immunocomparability issues, just as our students, and I don't want anyone to feel excluded or left out. Perfect plans are surely nothing that we're going to land on, but I hope that we will exercise a bit of creative thinking in areas like that, and not just look at the whole, oh, this will be impossible to implement universally, so let's not worry about it at all. I think we'll find areas where it's easier than others. Thank you so much for the time for that feedback. And if there's any answers for where I can get more involved in that conversation, that's what would help me most.
Okay, we will.
I would just mention, Student Trustee Cooper, all of us have open door policies. So if you have comments that you're receiving from students, I would say you can either forward it to me, or you could forward it to Vice Chancellor McKinley, who has been working on this project with me. And you can always share it with your president of your campus, Dr. Johnson. So many avenues with which conduits for communication and discussion. We don't have a task force because it is a bargaining unit. And just like the other items that we voted on tonight, students are precluded from being a part of the negotiations. But of course, we'd love to solicit your opinion. And that also goes for you, Student Trustee Hogan, because, you're here for a reason. And that reason is to provide that voice. So we're absolutely open to listen. We just can't always include you in the discussion.
Thank you.
No worries. I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with your support, the SSCCC is currently advocating and trying to negotiate with the California Community College Academic Senate and the Chancellor's Office to come to an agreement where students might be allowed to be included in these closed door meetings, and that we may see a future where these codes change a bit, especially with your support. So thank you for figuring out how to receive our feedback on this, however we can in the meantime.
Thank you. Trustee Delphine Hook, would you like to go first? Do you have a report?
I don't have a report. I just want to show continued appreciation for our faculty, classified staff, and everyone who is keeping the district running during the summertime. I'm really looking forward to coming back in the fall with a renewed sense of moving forward through the pandemic and moving forward through the rest of the year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Handy.
Hi. Other than we're still serving meals that occur, we keep getting extensions. Funding comes in from here or there. And lately we've been getting students from St. Mary's, I'm sorry, from Holy Names and Bishop O'Dowd, who are come to volunteer. And it's been really great. I don't know what I'm going to do when this is over. I feel like I've made such a commitment with the community over there at Occur that people come in and they just come to see us, even the little kids. It's been an incredible thing, just having that experience there. So I'm hoping that we will continue to get funding for all of our campuses and all that are providing meals through the pantry. It is such an important thing. And yes, last week, a young man came up to me and we'd given him like 10 meals and he said, I had nothing. He says, you're saving my life. I absolutely had nothing to eat. And this is what drives us all to continue to be there. And we're very happy to do it. So I'm grateful to have that opportunity during COVID. Otherwise, again, I'd be Linda on the block stuck here And it feels so much better to be able to have a purpose. So thank you. And thank you, David, and all the people from Merritt who also come down to assist. Happy vacation time, folks.
Thank you, Trustee Handy. Trustee Jenkins?
A few things, and I'm going to invite Trustee Handy to get back in here. First and foremost, thank you to I'm going to echo what Trustee Delphine Polk said. Thank you to our faculty and our classified staff and all of our employees for the amazing work that you do. Second, thank you, Dr. Jackson, for being our chancellor. Thank you for getting our student trustees trained. I do appreciate that. So on July 11th, 12th, and 13th, Trustee Handy and I went to the inaugural California Association of Black School Educators Institute. It was an amazing conference. Can't wait to debrief with the chancellor about it. We got excellent training on implicit bias training, ways that we can boost dual enrollment, and how we can better serve our Black students. And I would impress on next time we have Institute, I'm going to impress upon my colleagues to attend because it's helpful for all of us. And then if you wanted to get in there at all, Trustee Andy.
Yeah, actually, the implicit bias training that we had was absolutely amazing. Everything was jam-packed into a very short period, but it was an all day for the implicit bias. But the presenter was so amazing. He says, "Do you have a brain? Yes. Are you a social person? Yes. Then you have implicit bias." And it helped people to really take off some of that, that nervousness about it, and really get to understand that as social beings, we are pre-programmed to have some thoughts, but we can also shift those thoughts. We can change those thoughts when we realize they no longer serve us. So the conference, it was absolutely amazing. The reason I didn't mention it before is because I think that 112 temperature just kind of burnt off some of my brain cells. And most of the time it was like, that was my kryptonite, even trying to get to the conference site from our rooms. And I think that my mind just wanted to block out. Please, people, don't go to a conference in Palm Springs in July. Just don't do it. But other than that, I have to tell you, Trustee Kevin was great. He brought it to my attention. I'm so glad that he did. There were other trustees there from Compton and some other places, and academics from across the country. And also Dr. Curry was there as well from Compton. So I'm just really glad that we had the opportunity. And he's right. When they do have another, I believe they have another one later this year, and then two more this year. I think that people really should look at it because they pack it all in. So thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Bonilla?
Yes, hello. So I want to start off by, again, thanking all 4 college presidents for your presentations. Amazing work that is happening at each of your college campuses. And so congratulations to all of you, especially President Garcia on the stem cell related grant for biotech. What an amazing, amazing opportunity for students and faculty. I also want to share that here locally, workforce development amongst some of our partners, including the City of Oakland, are holding a decarbonization series on the electrification of vehicles and buildings. And so it resonated with me. Was it President Besikoff, as you were talking about the summer program of electric bike building? What an amazing opportunity for students to really start to think about transitioning those skills and what that could provide them with in terms of skill development as we start to create programs and trainings for students to come into a new way of operating buildings and vehicles. So please pay attention to the August 10th. Chancellor, I encourage you and any of your staff to access that information from the City of Oakland so that Peralta can be active participants in these workforce development stakeholder series. And in addition to that, I have reached out to you, Chancellor, regarding a different but similar project for interagency partnership with Peralta and a series of public agencies, or a number of public agencies who are involved in a project labor agreement research and development on creating and improving the effectiveness of project labor agreements. There's a lengthy email that I sent you. I will give you time to respond and also time to identify who you think from the across your campus, across the district, could participate. Lots happening on the ground to support increasing access for students of color in particular into both construction industry, as the construction industry is focused on the transformation of infrastructure, right? And a lot of this has to do with electrification and new roads and buildings. So there's considerable amount of opportunity for us local to be engaged and sitting at some of these stakeholder tables. So I look forward to seeing Peralta become much more active on that local front, especially around workforce development. And with that, I bid you all a farewell until we come back after the break.
Thank you, Trustee Bonilla. I'll look into that.
Thank you so much for that, Trustee Bonilla. Let's go to Trustee Withrow.
I'll take a pass on. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Gonzalez-Huen.
I too will take pass tonight.
I will just say that both the Chancellor and I attended, and we had hoped all the trustees would attend the DEI Action webinar that was brought together. I think it was last Thursday in the evening. It was brought together by the trustees that were part of the task force working on DEI initiatives. I'm on that task force as well, and CEOs, to ensure that districts, for the most part, have tools to implement the DEI initiative. And though many colleges passed the resolution across the state, I know that there have been discussions at the trustee task force that have really fervently endeavored to not have this only be a box that is checked, but to ensure that colleges, again, have the toolkits so that they can scaffold the initiative so that there's actual movement. Because I know that all presidents and all faculty and all staff probably feel like there's so many initiatives that we put that go through the system that we have to implement, but they become just that, just a checkbox. And so what I thought was very interesting, and the Chancellor and I were chatting on the side, what I thought was really interesting was they had several colleges. One was Victor Valley College and one was Moore Park College. Victor Valley College didn't just do a resolution. They enacted DEI, or diversity, equity, implementation, inclusion into their master plan, into their strategic plan, and it's in every part of what they do, in the blueprint for the whole model for their institution. So it's not just a resolution, but it's an explicit scaffolding in everything they do. And so that was very much internal and building the infrastructure for DEI. And Moore Park did something different. For them, it was externally facing. And this reminds me of what many of our college presidents are doing and our colleges are doing, where you are looking through that lens in the partnerships that you are having with the community. And I think that that is fabulous because it ingrains us in the community, but it also builds, it helps the community be part of the students and the students be part of the community, and there's fluidity there. And there was another college, I think it was Fresno, that had made a statement which came up many times in the breakout that I was facilitating. And one of the statements that he had made is that we think of DEI as a destination. And he said, in conversation with Estella Ben-Simon, that it is a journey, and we've got to meet people where they are at, wherever they are at, which reminded me of something in Estella Ben-Simon's book, and I'm sure many of you have heard of her, which I really, really thought was interesting. And that is, no matter who we are, no matter what kind of experiences or what ethnicities, what race we are all first generation equity practitioners. And so that resonated with me, because I think in many ways that spoke to what the breakout session discussions were about, in terms of, regardless of who we are and our experiences, we all are at different points in different phases, and our experiences make us who we are and how we understand things, but there's always still so much more to learn, and we're continuing to teach it to others too as well. So that was a really fabulous DEI webinar, and I do believe that there's much more work to be done in our own district, but the colleges are leading the way. All that you are doing has been really paradigmatic and an exemplar for us. So you are our inspiration. And since I am the last person to speak, I would just say, have a great, well, actually you all are working. We're just not going to be here. So continue the wonderful work that you're doing. And I will hand it to Vice President Gonzalez-Yuen for any announcements that we may have.
We just have a couple of announcements. Give me 2 seconds to finish pulling it up. Okay, I'm told in writing by Sasha Mary that we are excited about the fall 2021 semester. In fact, we are. It's coming up way faster than anybody understands. The Peralta district-wide Flex Day is coming up on Thursday, August 19, with College Flex Day on Friday, August 20th. Classes begin Monday, August 23. Wow. Enrollment is open now, and it's not too late to sign up for classes. All Peralta Community College District campuses and offices will be closed on Monday, September 6th in observance of Labor Day. And the board is on a summer break during the month of August. The next board meeting will be Tuesday, September 14th. And that is it.
Thank you, everyone. We bid you adieu. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you September 14th. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Board
Bye.
members, have a great recess.
Take care.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, be safe, everyone. Be safe.
Take care.